The House will come to order. Members, our prayer today will give by Aubriana Wilkins. She is a seventh grader at Victoria Christian Academy in Millbrook. She is the great niece of House staffer Jacqueline Times and also a guest of Representative Sellers.
May you bow your head and close your eyes. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for blessing us to wake up this morning and praise you, God. I thank you for your mighty angels you have around the building, Lord, to protect us. I pray for guidance and wisdom, God, that we make the correct decisions, Lord, that better and serve the needs and purpose that they need you to, Lord. I pray that our government officials and president receive wisdom, Lord, for the greater good. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Members today pledge allegiance will be led by Carson King. He is a sixth grade student at Prattville and the son of Allison King and a guest of Representative Lawrence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk call roll.
Mr. Speaker, Allman, Baker, Bedsole, Blackshear, Bolton, Boyd, Bracy, Brinyark, Brown, Butler, Carnes, Chestnut, Clark, Klaus, Collins, Colvin, Crawford, Daniels, Datcher, Drummond, Dubose, Easterbrook, Ellis, England, Ensler, Estes, Faulkner, Fiddler, Fincher, Fort, Garrett, Gidley, Gavan, Givens, Gray, Hall, Hammett, Harbison, Harrison, Hassel, Hendricks, Hill, Holt Jones, Hollis, Hulsey, Hurst, Ingram, Jackson, Jones, Keel, Kirkland, Lamb, Lands, Lawrence, Lipscomb, Lomax, Lovern, Marcus, McCampbell, McClammy, Mooney, Moore M, Moore P, Morris, Oliver, Paramore, Pascal, Pettis, Pringle, Rafferty, Ream, Reynolds, Rigsby, Robbins, Robertson, Ross, Sellers, Sells, Shaver, Shaw, Shiree, Simpson, Smith, Sorrells, Stodhagen, Standridge, Starnes, Stringer, Stubbs, Tillman, Travis, Treadaway, Underwood, Wadsworth, Warren, Witt, Wharton, Wilcox, Wood D, Wood R, Woods, Yarborough. Treadaway.
Fifty-three members have answered roll. Quorum is present. The House is ready to transact business. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Lee, Chairman Lovern.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request a leave of absence be granted for absent members.
Any objections? Hearing none, absence excused. Chair further recognizes the gentleman from Lee, Chairman Lovern.
Mr. Speaker, I have a report.
House of Representatives, your Standing Committee on Rules begs leave to report that it has carefully examined the Journal of the House for the 14th legislative day and finds the same to be correct. Signed, Representative Joe Lovern, Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the reading of the journal at length for the 14th legislative day be dispensed with.
Any objections? Hearing no objection, reading of the journal is dispensed with. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Mobile, Pro Tem Pringle, for the purpose of making announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, Organized Seafood Bash is tonight at 5:30 at the RSA Activity Center. Seafood Bash at RSA Activity Center. The Alabama Education Retired Association reception is from 5:30 to 7:30 at RSA Plaza. And this is a mouthful. A+ Education Partnership, Teach for America, Alabama, the Alabama Expanded Learning Alliance, SAIL, and the Alabama Families for Great Schools legislative reception is at 5:30 at Central. And Thursday morning, the ALCAP prayer breakfast will be from 7 to 8 at the RSA Plaza, 6th floor.
Mr. Pro Tem, you're further recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I move that when we adjourn today, we leave the journal open for the clerk to complete his paperwork and reconvene on Thursday, the 20th at 9 a.m. Thursday at 9 a.m.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion prevails. The clerk now will receive reports. Standing committees receive those reports throughout the day. The House is now in position to introduce bills and resolutions.
House Joint Resolution number 123 by Representative Faulkner, honoring the life and legacy of Lieutenant Colonel George A. Garzon. House Joint Resolution number 139 by Representative Blackshear, commending Jax Benton for winning the 13th annual Big Buck Photo Contest sponsored by the Alabama Black Belt Adventures Association.
I move adoption.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Chair recognizes the gentleman from Marengo, Representative McCampbell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the recognition. Members, may I have your attention, please? I hope everyone is aware of the history that was made on last evening. And I want you all to join me in congratulating the Alabama State men's basketball team for their first NCAA basketball win in the history of that university. So we want to give special kudos to one of our own, President Ross of the great Alabama State University. And we'd like to congratulate also Coach Matlock and his whole team, as well as the Alabama State family, for what you've accomplished. Now, sadly, we must admit, just how many miles? 40 miles up 65 is a foe that they will have to face on, I think it's tomorrow at about 1:50. If you all will, we are going to enjoy this very magical moment, and we will not speak about the unspeakable later. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members of the House.
Certainly, congratulations to Alabama State and all the Alabama teams that's still in the NCAA. Roll Tide. Clerk, I started something. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 37 of the calendar, House Bill number 145 by Representative Clark, relating to the city of Mobile.
Question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 69 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Question for the body is final passage of HB 347. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 18 ayes, 0 nays. HB 347 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 38 of the calendar, House Bill number 348 by Representative Blackshear, relating to Russell County.
Question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 65 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted. Question now for the body's passage of HB 348. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 14 ayes, 0 nays. HB 348 has passed. Clerk, call up next bill.
On page 38 of the calendar, House Bill number 349 by Representative Blackshear relating to Russell County.
Question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 65 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted. The question now for the body's passage of HB 349. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 15 ayes, 0 nays. HB 349 has passed. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 39 of the calendar, House Bill number 413 by Representative Robertson relating to Cleburne County.
Question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 64 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted. Question now is the final passage of HB 413. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 16 ayes, 0 nays. HB 413 has passed. Mr. Clerk, call for the next bill.
On page 39 of the calendar, House Bill number 417 by Representative Stubbs relating to Elmore County or the city of Eclectic.
Question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 58 ayes, 1 nay. BR has been adopted. Question now for the body's final passage of HB 417. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 17 ayes, 1 nay. HB 417 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 39 of the calendar, Senate Bill number 127 by Senator Kelly relating to Calhoun County.
Question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 58 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted. Question now for the body's final passage of SB 127. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 18 ayes, 0 nays. SB 127 has passed. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Lee, Chairman Lover.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a resolution.
Clerk, see the resolution.
House Resolution number 155 by the House Rules Committee, the Special Order Calendar.
Move for adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and War Eagle to the members.
Clerk, call first bill.
On page 27 of the calendar, House Bill number 352 by Representative Crawford relating to agriculture.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In 1982, the Alabama Cotton Commission was established, and they started research and promotion and things like that. Every 10 years, that referendum comes up, and it will be coming up this year. And the Cotton Board wanted to be able to look at the price of cotton and things like that and determine if they could raise that checkoff. It's been $1 a bale. This would give them the opportunity to go up to $1.30 a bale. Each year, they would determine what that checkoff would be. With that, Mr. Speaker, I ask for the BIR.
Chair recognizes the lady from Madison, Representative Hall.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentleman yield?
Yes, ma'am.
I found this interesting. Since part of my district, I'm both urban and rural. And when I was reading it, I was amazed at the fact that we have a commission that determines or limit the amount that is charged per bail.
We have a board, there's like 6 districts. We have a member that might be from your district, Mike Tate Farms, who serves on that board. They will be the one to determine it annually what that checkoff amount would be.
And the way I read it is that each time they meet, each year, they can determine whether or not to use
Yes,
this
ma'am.
increase
That's
addition.
right. It could stay $1 or $1.10 up to $1.30 per bail. The cost of research and whatnot has gotten so expensive, so it doesn't go very far anymore.
I agree. And when you look for cotton material today, you're limited in where you can find it as well. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Chair thanks the lady. Question for the body now is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 102 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, I ask for final passage.
That's question final passage of HB 352. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 102 ayes, 0 nays. HB 352 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and members of the body.
Thank the gentleman. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 28 of the calendar, House Bill number 346 by Representative Lee relating to physicians.
Chairman Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill is probably the exact way we as members should be in contact with our people in the community. I had a retired physician in Dothan to contact me and said, look, right now I'm volunteering, and if many of you know, we have a terrible shortage in physicians and in nurses, but physicians as well. And he called, and he's retired, and the law actually says that they have to volunteer over 100 hours per year. Well, I talked with MASA, and of course they were supportive of making this change, but they couldn't do it by their guidelines. It was in statute, so I have to change it. All this bill does is allow a retired physician that nothing changes as far as their criteria, what they have to continue their continuing education, but it will allow them to volunteer at their own expense and do whatever they need to do to go ahead and volunteer 4 hours a year, 3 hours a week, 75 hours a year. It doesn't matter. There's not a minimum. So, Mr. Speaker, I would move for a BIR.
That's questions. Adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote.
Thank you.
Clerk will lock a bill. Lock the machine. Record the votes. 103 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Mr. Chairman.
Move for final passage.
That's questions. Final passage of HB 346. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. Under 3 ayes, 0 nays. HB 346 is passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr.
Body.
Chairman. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 34 of the calendar, Senate Bill number 47 by Senator Singleton relating to first responders.
Representative Betzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this is a little bit of a cleanup from an act that was passed last year. Basically, it deals with Alabama's what would be closest term as a Good Samaritan law. We have what's called certified emergency response teams that goes out into the community after disaster. The bill last year actually said they would receive training directly from FEMA, but it actually should have said FEMA recognized training. And so we just need to make a little small technical fix to ensure they still receive the protection so they can go out into the communities and serve.
Okay, you've heard the explanation of the bill. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Clark, Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Speaker. I just want to clear up one thing. FEMA training and FEMA recognized training. Now, what's the difference? It got to be something going on here.
Yeah, so the bill last year actually implied that FEMA would actually be doing the training, but FEMA doesn't do. It's FEMA recognized training. So the members who serve their communities in the way that these CERT, Community Emergency Response Team, They just have to go through training that is recognized by
By
FEMA.
FEMA, okay.
And then what that does is their training gives them the protection they need to go out and be the good Samaritan. And also there's probably some funding that comes their way, but it has to be that recognized training.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to follow up. Could you be more specific with who's providing the training if it's not FEMA?
Yeah, so the training curriculums that is approved by FEMA would be administered on the local level.
Who are
So
they? Who are the people?
I don't know the exact entities that are
Because
providing that.
it could be the person on the corner doing the training.
The person, I'm sorry.
Could be the person on the corner. I think we need to be more specific about who's doing this training, because it could be just about anybody, and they say I'm certified, but then their certification might not match the level of training that's required.
So, and I think to your point, the bill last year laid that out. It just said that FEMA, instead of the entities and
But
groups.
did it give specific people that would do that training?
Yeah, so it's actually being driven through the local EMA. So these
So
teams.
does the local EMA do the training?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, ma'am. I just got the answer.
Yeah, yeah. Because, we want to be sure, because so often when you look up and whoever's providing the training, they might be certified to give some, but they might not be certified to give the level of training that's required. And that's what I think we need to be cautious of when we're saying who provides the
Yep.
training.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I just wanted to be a little more specific, so.
Thank you
if
for
I should-
testing me to get that right.
Well, yeah, because people will ask, and when you're talking to the people in the community, they're not going to accept that. They want to know some specifics so they can go check on it
Yes,
to
ma'am.
make sure that it's really happening. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. Question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock machine and record the votes. 102 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted. Representative Beto.
Ask for final passage.
As questions, final passage of SB 47. Clerk will unlock machine and the members vote. Clerk will lock machine and record the votes. 102 ayes, 0 nays. SB 47 is passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, gentlemen. Clerk, call up the next bill.
On page 33 of the calendar, Senate Bill number 54 by Senator Roberts, relating to crimes and offenses.
Chairman Simpson.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the recognition. This bill would further provide for protections for critical infrastructure to include communication services infrastructure, defense contractors facilities, and pulp and paper manufacturing facilities. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I ask for the BIR.
That is questions, adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock machine, record the vote. 102 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted. Chairman Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask for final passage.
Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Moore.
I don't know about that.
Wasn't he smiling from year to year? I know it.
I was so close. I was so close.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. But for these crimes of people going into critical infrastructure, that's what it is?
It's going into, but for the communication service, it's more for causing damage. If someone was to try to cut off like the broadband or cut off phone
Right,
connection,
okay,
it
okay.
creates that for somebody causing damage through that.
Okay, because I know we're having some problems in some of our school buildings where you have people entering, just homeless people entering, and they do a lot of damage to some of our buildings. But this is specifically if you're talking about the infrastructure and those types of buildings.
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. Question for the body now is final passage of SB 54. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 101 ayes, 0 nays. SB 54 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 18 of the calendar, Senate Bill number 78 with substitute by Senator Weaver relating to crimes and offenses.
Pro Tem Pringle, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, this bill would make it a crime. Children in this state are buying these whippets. It's nitrous oxide, and they're selling it in flavored, and it's causing all kinds of problems. It's killing people and causing neurological damage. So that, Mr. Speaker, I move adoption of the BR.
Question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 101 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Mr. Pro Tem.
Mr. Speaker, I move adoption of the substitute. It just clarifies who can and cannot possess this
Okay.
chemical.
You've heard his explanation for the substitute. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. Substitute has been adopted. Mr. Pro Tem.
Move passage of SB 78 to substitute it.
That's questions. Passage of SB 78 is substituted. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 101 ayes, 0 nays. SB 78 has passed as substituted. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 27 of the calendar, House Bill number 336 by Representative Hassel relating to interstate compact.
HB 336 is, this bill would establish an interstate compact for respiratory care professionals, allowing for more licensure practice across state lines, was also outlining the governance and enforcement mechanism to ensure the compact effectiveness operation. I'll ask for the BR.
That's a question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machines and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 101 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Representative Hassel.
Ask for final passage.
That's questions. Final passage of HB 336. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. HB 336 has passed.
I'd like to thank the Speaker and the body.
Thank you, gentlemen. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 33 of the calendar, House Bill number 360 with substitute by Representative Robertson relating to drug courts.
Representative Robertson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB, sorry, I can't see. HB 360, under existing law, the presiding judge of a judicial circuit, with the approval of the district attorney, may establish a drug court where drug offenders may receive treatment in addition to or in place of conventional incarceration. This bill would change the name of drug courts to accountability courts and would expand the scope of whom the court would have to serve to include offenders with mental illness and offenders who are veterans. This bill would also require the administration office of the courts to adopt policies and procedures relating to the use and implementation of the accountability courts. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I ask for the BIR.
Question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 100 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted.
Mr. Speaker, there's a committee sub.
Okay, you care to explain your sub to us, please?
Yes, sir. There was a definition swap. It was just a clerical error. Went from the Supreme Court to AOC on, let me find the line. Page 8, just the changing of the word from Supreme Court to AOC. And with that, I would ask for final passage.
Chair recognizes
adopt
the
the
gentleman
sub.
from Madison, Chairman Reynolds.
Do you yield, sir?
Yes, sir.
I just want to come in support of this bill. Appreciate you bringing this and expanding that accountability. We've already began to use that language in the opioid supplemental appropriation.
Yes,
and I think it brings clarity to it and also expands what they can do within those court systems. So
Yes, sir.
Appreciate your work.
Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the gentleman from St. Clair, Representative Hill.
Likewise, I support this bill. Is this the proper time for an amendment, Mr. Speaker?
Well, we got an amendment on the floor we need to vote off right now first.
I've got a couple of amendments that are friendly. Can I
Okay.
just stay here?
Yeah, after we vote this off, I'll call you back. Ms. Moore, you want to talk on this amendment? No, on the bill? Okay. The question for the body is, okay. Ms. Drummond, you on the amendment or the bill? Okay. Question for the body is adoption of the amendment. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes, 100 ayes, 0 nays. Committee substitute has been adopted.
I would ask for, I think we have 2 floor amendments.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker,
Okay. You don't wait till the amendments go on? Okay. Ms. Moore, same thing? Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I have 2 amendments.
Clerk, see the first amendment.
Amendment to House Bill number 360 by Representative Hill.
Chairman Hill.
Yes, sir. What this does is something I think the DAs already have the intrinsic ability to do, but it says that there's nothing in here that would prohibit them from petitioning the court to remove an individual from these programs if that individual does not act in accordance.
Sponsor heard the explanation of the amendment. You consider it a friendly amendment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The sponsor considers it a friendly amendment. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote, 100 ayes, 0 nays. The amendment has been adopted.
And, sir, I have a second amendment.
Clerk, see the amendment.
Amendment to House Bill number 360 by Representative Hill.
Mr. Robertson, what this amendment does is it agrees that if an individual needs mental health counseling, that treatment program will be certified by the Department of Mental Health, or alternatively, there will be documentation that it's an evidence-based program. Secondly, this allows our municipal courts, if they do not have an accountability court, to opt in to the court, the accountability court that's available in their circuit.
Okay, we heard the explanation of the amendment. Sponsor
This is
receive
a
it as a
friendly-
friendly amendment? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hall, you want to speak on the amendment or the bill? Amendment? Okay. Chair recognizes the lady from Madison, Representative Hall, speaking on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The gentleman here, would you go back to the First Amendment for
Yes,
me,
ma'am.
please?
Certainly. You need a copy of it, Ms. Hall?
Yes, because I was I was making sure you're in the. Thank you.
That's mine, so I'd like it back at some time.
I'm sorry.
That's mine, so I'd like it back at some time.
I'll consider that, yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. You're very kind to share back with me that which I've given you.
Sounds like you went to Sunday school. On you're removing line 307.
What I'm doing here, Ms. Hall, is giving to the district attorneys, if an individual gets an accountability court and that individual needs to be removed, the district attorney can petition the judge that's running that court to remove that individual from that program.
Okay, but so when I'm reading this, when I started line 307, you're saying that you are replacing line 307 with the following statement. So what after I get to the discretion of the district attorneys, taking that out, taking the discretion, and then adding nothing in this shall constitute or prohibit them.
Yes, ma'am.
for their work.
It allows them to have some control over who's in that court.
They don't have that right at this
Well,
time?
They can probably keep somebody from getting in them, but if somebody gets in it, this is set up by the court, not the
I
district
understand,
attorneys.
so I'm just looking at what their rights are now. How does this happen?
Right now, in a drug court program, the district attorney has to allow that individual to opt in.
Okay,
The judge in each circuit is setting this up.
right.
And if the judge puts someone in and the district attorney says, I do think that person should be in, then he has the right to ask the judge to remove that person.
So it really ends up the DA has a final say.
No, the judge would have the final say.
But the judge has the final say, but if the DA thinks that that person shouldn't be there, it sounds like he has the final say.
If
or
the
she.
DA does not believe that person should be there, then they would need to discuss that, but ultimately, it would be the judge that have the final say.
So it could be a situation where the DA would say, I don't think he or she should be there, but yet the judge will allow that person
Yes,
or
ma'am.
individual to participate.
That's
All
correct,
right.
Ms. Hall.
Now the second,
Here you go, Ms. Hall.
oh,
Okay, Ms. Hall. Yes, ma'am.
lines 420 through 22, you're taking on page 15 and 16.
Really, what we're doing on this one, ma'am, is make sure that the program is certified by the Department of Mental Health, or that at least is documentation that that mental health program is an evidence-based program. And the other thing we're doing is allowing municipal courts that do not have an accountability court to send people to the accountability court that's within that circuit.
Okay.
So it's expanding the use.
So let's go back to your certification. You're under the Department of Mental Health.
Yes, ma'am.
They must be qualified through, or must have been certified through the Department of Mental
If they're getting mental health counseling, yes, ma'am. See, some of these, when you look at these courts, ma'am, we're sort of lumping them into one group. But if you really break them out, there's drug courts, there's
Sure.
mental health courts, and there's veterans courts. Are basically the three that we use. The veterans court oftentimes has overlapping needs, overlapping services. But if an individual needs mental health counseling, that mental health counseling, the Department of Mental Health needs to have certified that program, or at least be confident that that program is operated under evidence-based principles.
And Mental Health Department would be one to determine that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Mental health is the one that wanted this amendment. The mental health wanted that top part of the amendment, and the League of Municipalities wanted the bottom, so that they could have the opportunity to pull people into that program. Some of our cities just don't have this available.
Oh, I understand, and I think it's long overdue. I just think that the problem for us is having the resources, the adequate resource for taking care of the problem that exists. I think it's a great idea.
It's listen. This really the genesis of this goes to our Chief Justice, the new one, Chief Justice Stewart. She's the one that really is pushing these courts. Chad was pushing it through veterans courts, and she got with us and she said, let's just expand his bill, and that's what we've tried to do.
And I appreciate it, and thank you for answering.
No,
that.
you're
and
welcome.
It makes sense.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks, Ms.
Thank
Hall.
you.
I appreciate you. I got it. Thank you, Ms. Hall.
Thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. Question for the body now is adoption of the floor amendment. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. Floor amendment has been adopted. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
Chair recognizes. Yes, sir. Thank you. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Moore.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I think Judge Hill might have answered part of my question, because I wanted to know, why do we need to change drug court to accountability court? Is it that you're moving more situations in there?
Well, it's expanding it so it'll be more available.
To-
Before, this was formed under drug court.
So when
they're
it was
changing
drug
the-
court, you had to be accused or found guilty of some drug
It
violation,
limited,
right?
it limited to a few things. And
Right, so now you want to include like mental health and other things in there and make it accountability. It's just that I don't like the name accountability. I think it's so broad. And is that why you got it so broad? As the need occurs, that you could expand it to have an outlet for treatment for people?
Well, I think the word was used to facilitate the method that they help these people with, holding them accountable
Okay.
for their actions. They have
So
to
they
report
couldn't
in
do that
monthly.
under drug court?
I'm sorry.
They couldn't do that under drug court?
Well, it just, like I said, that the way it was written there, it was limited to where
To drugs.
Right, and
Okay.
there's certain areas that they were able to form the veterans courts and the mental illness courts out of that, but this would allow the state
Put them all
as a
together.
whole to be in more. Yes.
Okay,
yes, ma'am.
okay. Just the accountability. I wish we could, because accountability, and I understand where you're going, but is there any, when you're referring to the treatment, to help them to get to that point where they're accountable for it? And I guess that's what's troubling, but I can understand now what you're trying to do instead of having so many different courts where people are being treated or required to acknowledge that they have a problem and take accountability for their actions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I can see that. I just don't like the name, but I appreciate you.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Sure, thanks, lady. Chair recognizes the lady from Mobile, Representative Drummond.
Gentleman yield. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say I really, really, really like this bill. And I wanted to tell you, because drug court started in Mobile County. I remember when it was a pilot program, and I'm just so excited to see how it's expanded around the state.
Yes, ma'am.
In April, I will go to another I've gone to just about all of the drug court graduations.
Yes, ma'am.
And a couple, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I went to the Veterans Treatment graduation. We had 3 graduates.
Okay.
And I'm glad that we're seeing things, that we're reclaiming those lives. And see, in Mobile, we actually have proof. One of the young lady who now runs drug court, Judge McMakin was the judge who helped us form it when we were in Mobile County. And the young lady who is now running it, Judge McMakin, rest his soul, she was a drug court graduate.
That's
Her
amazing.
life was destined to fail, and Judge McMakin took her under his wings, and she now is running that program today. So I just stood to tell you and the members, this is a great bill, and this is what we're supposed to be doing. It's not just a second chance, but it's giving good people their lives back.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. Question for the body now is final passage of HB 360 as substituted and amended. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 102 ayes, 0 nays. HB 360 as substituted and amendment has passed.
Thank you, sir.
Good work.
Thank you, body.
gentlemen. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 24 of the calendar, House Bill number 359 by Representative Treadaway, relating to firefighters.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What this bill does, it came before us last year, passed out of here unanimously. This bill would add Parkinson's disease to the list of firefighters' occupational diseases. This bill would also provide a standard for demonstrating that the Parkinson's disease is occupational in origin in order to qualify for those benefits. With that, Mr. Speaker, I move for the BIR.
Next question is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. BIR has been adopted. Mr. Chairman,
If there's no other questions, Mr. Speaker, I move for final passage.
that is questions final pass of HB 359. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. HB 359 has passed. Ms. Clerk, let's call HB 141 up out of the basket, please.
Message from the Senate. Mr. Speaker, the Senate has amended as therein shown and as amended has passed the following House bill and returned same herewith to the House of Representatives. House Bill number 141 relating to state employees.
Representative Hassel.
The amendment that the Senate made, it's a payroll deduction. It defined financial instrument for the payroll deduction, and also clarified that it did not include political contribution. Other than that explanation of the amendment, I ask to concur.
He carried the gentleman's request is to concur with the amendment. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 101 ayes, 0 nays. The amendment has been concurred. Thank you, gentlemen. I'd like to introduce the District 7 superintendents from Tuscaloosa and surrounding counties, the guests of Bolton, Brynard, Almond, England, McCampbell, Travis, and Lamb. Let's give them a big hand. Thank you for being with us today. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Mobile, Pro Tem Pringle.
Mr. Speaker, I move the House stand in adjournment.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.